Steven Seagal is getting harder and harder to understand, even though he speaks American natively, right? English.
I think it's because Steven Seagal's face is getting stiffer and stiffer. And so
Did
it's
he
like
have
it's
a
harder
stroke?
for him to move his jaw. I think
He
that,
can't open his lips enough to speak.
right. So it's gotten to the point where it's like he can only really speak through his nostrils.
He's out.
Hey, he's the pink whip.
Welcome to another episode of the Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker on this June 8th, 2022. Man, I have so much saliva in my mouth right now. I'm just spitting
Spit it out.
all over my computer.
I bought you that spittoon for your birthday. Use it.
Anyway, so welcome to another episode of the Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker on this June 8th, 2022. We are a week away from the second annual Quibbly Awards that will be held a week away, next Wednesday, June 15th at 5 o'clock Pacific and 8 o'clock Eastern, going for 2 hours, a 2-hour live presentation on YouTube. We're expecting many, many people, or at least 3, to show up. So just show back up here on YouTube, everybody, to watch the live show. You'll see many more faces besides our own. In the meantime, I'm going to start off our... first, our client. Our client for today is those who pry thighs use lies.
Behold, trapped in a hellscape of their own invention, socially unaware old white men bound by the pretense of being fake lawyers yet knowing no law, no exquisite Latin terminology, they are inexplicably compelled to quibble over minutia, squabble over triflings, and bicker like those who value their backyards far too highly without even knowing the difference between an easement and an alleyway. At this very moment, you have entered the heart of the Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker. Let's get started.
Can we change it the last minute to those who pry borts use glorts?
No. On June 15th at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, and airing live exclusively on YouTube, the Step Up to the Bar Association Legal Conference and Awards Banquet will host the second annual Quibbly Awards. Coveted by celebrities and common folk alike, the Quibblies are unusual in that they are TFTs, totally fungible tokens, so anyone can do whatever they want to them. There's no naked Uncle Oscar, no science fiction Emmy, no golden globulars, only Lady Justice peeking through her blindfold and a name on a virtual certificate. Brendan Haggerty, Greg Pettix, and Matt Parashi, the beloved triumvirate of the celebrated podcast, Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker, will be the MCs. Many words will be used, but none can predict exactly what those words will be. So remember, Wednesday, June 15th at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube. Come out for the second annual Quibbly Awards.
Are number one in my book.
Well, I'm speechless and I'm also disappointed.
I haven't had this much excitement since I was named Miss Warsaw.
And I appreciate the fact that you guys find me the best anything.
Okay, that is our sponsor for today, which is basically the Quibbly Awards. This is narcissism in action. Exactly.
Where'd you get that music? Is that public domain music? That majestic sounding?
It is, but I give it Creative Commons licensing at the end. It's the little yellow text you see at the end there is
Okay.
how I give credit to the artist on that. So yeah, it's free music, but it's also, the deal.
He lost the rights to his own music somehow.
Right,
It's music he was unwilling to pay $1 for.
right, or more.
Or maybe he lost it in
music.
a poker game. He lost the song rights.
Well, no, it's just that something that's. I mean, I could pay $1 for something, I suppose, if I could find one that I like for $1. But free works for me too. I don't know. So.
I'm not sure how we got off on this tangent. I blame Greg. I just said something.
It's easy to blame Greg because he is the one who asked the question.
I'm feeling very tangential today, by the way.
Tangentital. Your genitals are tan once again. Which leads us into our client for today, which is those who pry thighs, use lies. Now, this was originally came up with because we found out that one of Brendan's favorite hobbies is to write fiction, and Greg got a degree in creative writing in college. And, many people put the concept out there that people who write fiction are professional liars. Although there is some debate about that, because of the nature of a lie is the desire to deceive, whereas somebody who reads a fiction story, they know that the information isn't real. So is it really a lie at that
They want to entertain. They don't want to deceive anyone. They just want to enlighten.
Yeah, but it really just depends upon what aspects of the story are true fiction and what, they're saying that something took place in a particular city. Is the city the lie?
I think the profession makeup here is that it's journalists who are really the professional liars, not fiction authors. It's the people that have been paid by the corporations to spin the fiction we're supposed to believe. Those guys are the liars.
Yeah, they are trying to deceive. And also reality show scriptwriters. That's deception. That's it's a reality show, but we script it out because they're all scripted. All those reality shows. I know a guy.
Wrestling.
Wrestling.
What about nude wrestling? Is nude wrestling fiction?
That's pretty straightforward. They're not trying to deceive anyone. They're trying to titillate.
Right, but again, is there a set winner that's going to be set up beforehand or not in the nude wrestling? And originally, wasn't wrestling in the Olympics done nude in the beginning, way back when?
I think all the Olympic athletes were nude. The runners, the shot putters,
but not the javelin throwers, because they didn't want them nude.
I think they were, unfortunately.
Because they might grab the wrong javelin is the problem.
Pierce sacks.
What'd you
say? Gymnasts running around nude. Pierce sacks. That's a law firm in Fort Lauderdale.
Or a fancy department store.
Please shop your javelin equipment at Pierce Sacks.
Just don't come naked.
Already off onto a whole new tangent. So what exactly does those who pry thighs use lies mean, Greg?
Well, that's obvious.
Explain why it's obvious for those who don't get obvious things.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to be a little sexist here and say when dudes want to get with women, sometimes the truth might get a little. I guess women do it a lot too. They kind of tell tall tales, like they hide things.
But I don't think they have to pry thighs though, because with guys you don't have to pry their thighs.
Yeah. But I think guys.
You tell me, West Coast.
There's a lot of sleazy guys, who are like, will say anything to get a woman into bed. So
wait, Greg. Brendan made a comment that I'm curious to get into here. So what was that response to? Are you saying that you don't have to pry your thighs must be pried open, Brendan? Is that what you're talking about?
I'm just saying you're saying that it must be. You were the one that was saying it can't be women because they don't pry thighs, and I'm saying listen to you, West Coast.
Oh right, I apparently just forgot about an entire group of people, didn't I?
Do you mean by that? Do you mean the lesbos? Is that okay to say that now?
You're just throwing out hate speech again, Greg. You're going to get us banned.
I don't know.
You're going to get us banned.
Is that just a nickname, though? Is that just a nice nickname?
No, it's an island off of Greece, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
The island of Lesbos. Yeah.
I believe that was written about in the Iliad, or it was the Odyssey, I think, not the Iliad.
Yeah. A bunch of women like to do yard work. All have small dogs. Right. They put him up for the weekend.
They all own Subarus.
Right?
Yes, right. They like plaid and lots of plaid, flannel plaid. So anyway, so I apologize to anybody that I may have offended by suggesting that they're not capable of rape. Also, so anyway, point being that
rape? What did you say? Rape?
Well, if you're having to pry thighs, Greg, that means it's not really consensual, now is it?
I guess. Well, I mean, if it's consensual prying.
Only when I ask you questions is it consensual prying, Greg.
Really, what could consensual prying be? Hey, I'm going to pry you, I guess.
Well, maybe you go into it with the concept that you're going to keep your legs closed, right? And the other person has to get them open like that. There's a game there. So that could be the consensual
Who determines when the game started, though?
I think whenever you start talking about it.
And if it's a three-way with 2 women, it's 2 pry.
Is it like a baggie? A 2
No,
pry baggie?
no, that's when I go to the. That's when I go to the gas station. I get the 2 pry. I get the 2 pry brand.
2 pry toilet paper?
Yes, 2 pry. You don't get 1 pry.
Oh, no, the puns are a-flying today. So
you're not the only one who can do dad jokes, man.
I never said that I was. You're the one who threatens me with it all the time.
But I think, I think there's a lot of maybe lies of omission rather than commission that go on in dating where, you know what I mean? Just the fact that, I've got to fart really bad on this date, but I'm going to suppress it, or I'm not going to talk about how I'm a dishwasher. I'll wait.
I should tell him I have gonorrhea.
Yeah, exactly. Or I once had gonorrhea at least. You know, you're not going to bring that up.
Like a few
You're
weeks
going to put
before.
your best foot forward and kind of leave things out. On a
So this is
date.
more of like a metaphorical prying, is what you're saying.
Well, you want to pry the thighs eventually, but
you want to do like a verbal prying so that it is more willing.
What's that pry? It's setting up so the woman will want to prioritize herself by thinking you're not a loser.
But a woman
vice versa
doesn't have to pry her own thighs open. She just opens her legs.
Yeah. Right? So a woman, for example,
wouldn't
be like...
Could she possibly deny the thigh prior to the pry? Yeah. There could be a prior denial.
I'm confused now.
I'm just enjoying all the rhyming.
We're like,
we need to get our rapper guy back on. We could start laying some tracks down.
He will be with us next week. Twism will be with us next week. The one person we definitely will not be having will be Billy Skeels next week because he is incarcerated. So
who would have thought?
I just got a message from one of his kids that said that he's not coming. He's in jail.
And they don't have Zoom in prison?
I said, do you mind if I ask? They said, it's none of your business. I said, fair enough. And then the kid called me a bitch. It was hilarious.
What?
And then I said, well, why am I a bitch? And he said, just kidding. But he spelled it just kiting. So I knew it could have been either him or Billy, actually. Could have spelled it that way, too. But and we had a little bit more of a conversation. This was the kid that was on our show at the same time as Billy at the end of the episode. When he pulled his kid out. So
wasn't that kid like 11 years old?
I think he was 9. He was turning 10.
10. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I gave him a year or two.
Right, and he's the one who had to tell me that his dad was in jail, which kind of
in the video. I thought that was a ghost. I thought someone died in the house. There's a ghost.
What?
No, that was the other people with the ghosts.
Like that's a whole different controversy going on there. So my contact person with them had a falling out with the Mystic Ghost Supernatural team and is now no longer with them. There was some kind of a rift that occurred.
So they're not going to be on?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, they've all, the leader of it and my contact both responded and both are interested. The one that I contacted had a lot more interest, whereas the one who runs the show said, sounds good. And that was the extent of their RSVP. So I don't know if they'll be on. But anyway, so there's that. Also, we'll have one of our PR people will be on who wasn't on last year. That's Steve Joyner. He'll be on. And I want you guys to really pester him about getting us... Exactly. He was the one who was attacked by his family.
That's right.
But
I knew it was something.
But when he comes on, I want you to really pester him about getting us Gary Busey. Because I keep trying to get him to get us Gary Busey. And... he keeps not giving me the contact information. So it's like, I want you to harass him for that too. But in exchange, we have to put on a couple of comedians that he'd like us to get on. So I figured that's...
I'm going to call him a bitch.
No, that's the other guy.
He'll take you down. He will take you down, Greg. Unless his back is to you, then you can hit him pretty good. So anyway, those who pry thighs use lies. And this is the case with, I think, many guys. We'll make this very misogynistic in the sense that it's mainly men who do this to women. Who, I mean, I don't know. I'm not familiar with the homosexual community enough to be able to say that they do this.
Oh, they do too. They do too. They'll say they don't have a boyfriend.
How can you
guys,
say this, Greg?
Because I know gay guys who are just as sleazy as heterosexual men.
Uh-huh.
Because they just want to get laid. So they'll be like, "Oh no, I'm not dating them. We're just roommates. We can fuck." And they'll find out like he's a cheater.
Uh-huh. So if we have Icavelli back on, you think he would agree with that?
Who's Icavelli again?
Icavelli was your boyfriend from New Jersey.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
pretty eyes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he would totally.
And he's coming on next week. He said he's looking. He was actually talking about us to somebody in Key West recently. So I was like, oh, I guess that's a good thing, as long as it wasn't the authorities.
That's our demographic down there.
Yeah,
Key West is our demographic.
Oh, that's sort of over 40 or over 45 white female. There's a lot of those down there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe that's who you're talking
driving around in golf carts.
I'm looking forward to this. I've actually created I'm creating like an intro for the award show itself to try and add a little bit of spectacle to it. Like they do to the other awards shows. Just like a little bit. It's not going to be anything fantastic because I'm making it. So yeah. We know the nature of my abilities, which is like.
Is Icavelli hanging out with the Waspy Soda Pop?
Should I get some
2 weeks ago?
Sparkle to throw out of my pocket from time to time?
That actually could be fun. To toss a little confetti in the air.
You
could be like Rip Taylor, exactly.
That would be great.
Was it Tom Waits? I was watching a couple of interviews with Tom Waits where he would specifically carry confetti with him on interview shows and would just toss it up in the air every so often, just to because he wrote a song or a story about a guy who always carried confetti for that purpose. So he started doing it. So I guess so he could be that guy.
I suppose so. Wow.
Tom waits for no confetti. He carries his own.
And then I'll take a sledgehammer to a watermelon.
Oh, yeah? You want me to try and get Gallagher on?
No, I'll do it. I'll do the Gallagher bit. I'll steal it.
You can't call it Sledge-O-Matic, though, because it's patented. Because he has, like, it's a trademarked thing.
No, he calls it that.
Yeah, you'll have to call it something else, Greg. You have to call it, like, I don't know, some other thing.
Like
I want to talk about, I once read somewhere that how it's interesting that it was almost like the invention of language was kind of a little part of it was just so, that was the first time you could lie. Before language, you couldn't really lie. I mean, I guess you could, like, if somebody came up to you, like, hey, are you cool with me? And you could be like, and then you could bash them on the head with your caveman club, which is kind of a lie, pretending that you're friendly and being like all. But language allowed us to do these elaborate lies where you could, use words. It's almost like that Ricky Gervais movie.
What about deaf people who don't know sign language? Can they lie?
Wait, how would they communicate at all?
What'd you say, Greg?
They don't know sign language, so they can't communicate at all, you're saying?
No, I didn't say they can't communicate at all. I said, can deaf people who don't know sign language lie?
Can they talk and read lips and then talk back?
I don't know,
Marlene Maitland voice?
I don't know. You tell me.
Marlene Maitland can lie. Marlene Maitland can lie. Yeah, she lies all the time.
Marley Matlin lies all the time.
She's a fuck. Oh my god! When she wants to pry some thighs,
she'll say anything.
She'll say anything.
Everybody in L.A. has had a bit of her. Gary Coleman, Pee Wee Herman. I mean, the list goes on.
They all dated Marley Matlin.
Emmanuel Lewis.
Yeah,
Andre the Giant.
From big to small, she's fucked them all. That's what they say about her.
That's the slogan that usually shows up under her face at award ceremonies.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Oh my god.
You guys know I once got I used to write bullet reviews for the local Tucson weekly rag for movies. And the one time they censored me and I quit because I was like, the only reason I have this job is so I can tell shitty jokes in these movie reviews. And I was making fun of Jean-Claude Van Damme because that guy's fucking lived in America for 20 years at that point. And he still talked with the shitty diction of like Marlene Maitland. He was still
he's Belgian.
Yeah, and he's lived in America for 20 fucking years. He's still like, but
there's plenty of people who've been here for 20 years still have trouble with English, Greg.
Well, they're morons. Come on, get with the program.
So you're calling immigrants morons, Greg?
No, if they can't figure out the language at a certain point, come on, you live here. You deal in Hollywood. It's not like you like, oh, I have a dishwasher. I don't have to use the language that much.
You're so nimbified, Greg.
No, but this is.
I'm just trying to understand. Did you actually compare him to?
Yeah, I said.
Madeline?
How come he still speaks with the diction of Marley Maitland? And they were like
that was the offensive part. Not necessarily that he can't speak. I don't think it was racist. It was.
Well, it's not racist, but it's just like, come on.
No, it's not. It's not racist. It's like Trumpish, is what it is. What he's basically. He's talking like Donald Trump now.
My parents were immigrants. They learned the fucking language. It's just like, it's ridiculous that Jean-Claude Van Damme, the millionaire, is still like, oh, I can't. He
still has an accent. I know that's a horrible thing.
No, it's not an accent. It's almost like you can barely understand him. It's like
you can understand what he says.
It's hard though.
He and Steven Seagal. I think he and Steven Seagal have some sort of parallel balance. Like the worst that he spoke, something like, you know what I mean? I don't know. Because Van Damme hasn't changed, but Steven Seagal is getting harder and harder to understand, even though he speaks American natively, right? English.
I think it's because Steven Seagal's face is getting stiffer and stiffer, and so it's harder for him to move his jaw. I think
he can't open his lips enough to speak.
Right, so it's gotten to the point where it's like he can only really speak through his nostrils.
He's
from my hair.
Out, Seagal.
He's the penguin.
You know, I used to really enjoy Steven Seagal movies way back when, and then something changed after like the third movie. Where
you liked him?
I did. Above the Law was like this, in my opinion, kind of a groundbreaking martial arts movie. He was using a style of martial arts I'd never seen before.
I guess that's true for an action movie in America. Nobody was using martial arts back then.
No. That particular style of martial art, he wasn't using kung fu. Right?
I know, but
most other martial arts movies use like a form of kung fu or karate, and he wasn't using. I think he was using aikido. I think that was what his style was. So I think that was what was new for me, you know. And he had, he had a very serious demeanor. Wasn't any great actor, but you know, most people in martial arts movies are not great actors, so that wasn't unexpected. But I think it was after Under Siege, like maybe Under Siege 2. Where I think he got a little too serious, like he started taking his career too seriously or something, and then
he started to try to be an actor.
Yeah, and you know, he was in that one movie with Kurt Russell. What was it called, like Executive Decision or something? And I was really surprised to see that he died really, really fast in that movie.
Yeah, it was like a switcheroo.
He was like in for like 3 minutes, and then he gets sucked out of the exhaust of a plane or something. And then he was
who's the star for the rest of the movie? I can't remember.
No, it was Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell was the main star.
Kurt Russell was the star.
Yeah, but it was Steven Seagal was in it as like a big name as part of the movie, but he is basically offed. Like, so I wonder if he like really pissed off somebody on the set. Like you pissed off the director, if you pissed off Kurt Russell or something.
I think that was the thing. There was like Mission Impossible movies. You know, those Mission Impossible movies always kill off the big stars at the beginning. I think it was the thing where they knew he was going to die. Like, they thought it would be this amazing...
Who did they kill off quickly in the beginning of those movies?
In every Mission Impossible, it starts with a team, and it's like recognizable faces. It would be like Emilio Estevez, big kind of semi-stars that you might know, and then they kill them off, and then they bring in the real team, like Tom Cruise, as this total, like, fake-out.
In every Mission Impossible movie?
I only saw two, but they did it in two of them. Well, two.
You know, there have been like 6. You say every one, and I'm like, maybe the first one. Maybe the first movie they did that, but I don't think they did that for any of the other.
It's kind of a cool idea, though, because you go to the theater and you don't think they're going to die, and you're like, "Fuck, they just died." I thought they were the stars.
I think you saw maybe the first one and maybe like a parody, and they did then the parody too, and that was pretty much it. Greg, is what he conflated.
Yeah, I don't remember Emilio Estevez dying and.
That was just a name off the top of my head. They're recognizable stuff. People. They're not.
It's funny you would pick Emilio Estevez though, of anybody.
Because
have you been thinking about him recently? Has he been like where your dreams have gone, Greg?
That's the kind of actor.
Are his thighs the ones you want to pry?
Yes. No, his cheeks. But they hire guys like that who like you haven't really seen, but you know their name. People, when you see Emilio Estevez, it's not like that guy. You're like, oh, that's Emilio Estevez, and they always have these actors who you know.
When I see Emilio Estevez, I think to myself, what fucking year is it? Where am I?
When I see Emilio Estevez, I think Jane Fonda.
Right.
Just because you said you'd see Emilio Estevez. Like, who else would you see if it wasn't Emilio Estevez that you were talking about? Of course you would see Emilio Estevez if you saw Emilio Estevez.
No, but I'm saying as opposed to some no-name actor, like character actor, where you're like, oh, that.
So who would be an example of one of these no-name actors, Greg? Give us a name.
Icelandic cop guy, Einar
Haraldsson?
Einar Haraldsson.
Oh.
Son of Harold.
So they wouldn't kill him off. They'd keep him around.
Most movies would gladly just be like, who cares? Nobody's going to be shocked if Einar dies. And he pops up.
He's security guard too, who comes around the corner and goes, you know.
Yeah, when the witch coven gets him. But when you're watching an action movie and there's a team of like 5 recognizable actors doing kick-ass action, you're like, oh, okay, I'm in. And then they kill him.
You know, I think you're thinking of maybe Charlie's Angels, because I think they did that on one of the Charlie's Angels episodes or something where they.
What? Like, I saw like 2 movies of Charlie's Angels. They didn't do that.
I could be wrong. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just throwing it out there.
How do we get on this? I don't even remember.
I actually started to watch Mission Impossible 1 a few nights ago because I was like, man, Tom Cruise looks so young in that movie. I'm like, this is an old movie.
Yeah, they began a long time ago. He's kept that franchise alive. He's turned into Sylvester Stallone.
Oh,
and now he's got Top Gun back.
Yeah, but what I've been hearing about the new Top Gun movie is supposed to be like much better than the first one, which really wouldn't take that much, honestly.
Yeah. Wow.
First movie wasn't really that great.
That's an effort.
He's had a lot more years in movie making experience to be able to make a better movie than the first Top Gun. Anyway, so those who pry thighs use lies. Lying. It's lying we're talking about. So how often do you think we lie, Greg, on this show? Brendan, do we lie frequently?
Specifically on this show?
Yes, on our podcast.
In general, as a human being? What?
No, just specifically during the course of any particular Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker episode.
Oh,
and are we lying to pry thighs or for some other reason?
I think
it's like you said. It's not a lie. We're just trying to be funny when we lie.
I think it's a lie to think that we're funny.
That's a lie. I think sure, some lies get some truths get stretched, lies get told. Is it for prying thighs? No, it's for buying size or frying guys. I don't know. I can't think of anything.
The prying guys, Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker.
Finding eyes.
Sighing cries.
We're 3 pry.
But anyway.
It's multi-pry.
So what was the setup of the question? Because I think I read somewhere where like an average person lies like 200 times a day or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
I forget what it was. It was a lot. Little tiny things like I'll be right there when really they're not right there. But just lots of just misrepresentations. Not outright like, no, I'm not married. Sure, let's go to my place. Not like those kind of lies, but this little tiny dipshit lies.
I think we do at least 7 to 12 lies per episode between the 3 of us. I think at least.
But that's for entertainment purposes. We don't really want to deceive.
Well, I think every waspy soda pop recipe is meant to be real, but it fools you.
But like you said, is it lying if you're just trying to, like writers, they're not lying, they're trying to entertain, they're not trying to deceive.
Well, it's like your sentence, it's not racist if it's true. That's what you like to say.
No, it's not racist. Yeah, and it's not racist if it's funny. That's why I was saying.
Right. And I think it's still racist.
No, I'm kidding about that.
Whether it's true or
funny.
But
if it's true, it's not. How can you deny truth?
Because every racist says that, Greg.
No, but they're idiots.
Okay, well, at least you've joined the club.
I have stats to back me up.
Every racist says that. So if somebody says that, they're racist.
That's an interesting syllogism.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a little weirdly stated, but okay.
I was like that saying that what was that? Some Greek myth or something or story where everything I say is a lie. Is that the Sphinx? Some kind of character is like the Sphinx.
It was the Sphincter.
Yeah, he does a riddle.
It sounded like the beginning of a George Bush dinner. Good evening, everybody. God bless y'all. You know, there's that old saying about, one guy against it all, stop the thing.
No, George Bush never lied,
two guys.
George Bush never lied. He only misspoke. That was his word for lying.
I honestly miss that guy so hard. I do.
Yeah.
Well, he recently spoke out against Trump or something, didn't he? I think I remember.
Recently?
Yeah.
He spoke out about Trump a long time ago.
Oh, did he? Okay. I thought it was something more recent, though.
Oh, when Trump shat on Jeb, all the Bushes were like, no.
Yeah.
They all like came out of the bushes.
Yes.
Say something.
They appeared out of those little pylon things.
Like sleeve stacks?
Like
that explains everything, actually. That now we know where George Bush came from.
I think George Bush.
He's a lizard. He's a lizard person, so that's why I don't know. I went lizard person, Bush lizard person. They appeared out of pylons, and then he said sleeve stack, which was kind of what I was.
And then George Bush used the pylon. George Bush used the pylon to make a hurricane attack Mar-a-Lago that week.
I think that America was the thighs during the Bush administration that
he pried open.
Yes, so he could get the Patriot Act going. And,
with Dick Cheney.
Who?
That's all Dick Cheney, I think.
Where one person's lies and another person's thighs, where they start and end in that Washington, it's really hard to tell, Did Obama inherently things that were going kind of well, and then it did better, and he didn't do anything remarkably stupid? It's like, what did Trump really do? None of them do anything. Anyone thinks otherwise
he did a lot of bad
Beverly
stuff.
Hills.
Actually,
yeah, watch too much reality TV. It's all scripted.
Yeah.
Well, that was it. So who was writing Trump's scripts then? Was it Steve Bannon? Could have been Bannon. It had been somebody else. Had been something a little bit more behind the scenes than Bannon, who was writing Trump's scripts, I think.
I think Trump would have made his own script a lot. He went off script a lot.
No, there was that weird ghoulish looking dude.
Stephen Miller?
Yeah, Stephen Miller, I think, was a pretty big architect. I think the vampire kid.
Nosferatu.
I think he wrote a lot of shit, and then they just Trumpified it, meaning they just took like word bobbles and sort of
word bobbles.
So I think, where they like jumbled up a few words, interchanged shit, or made him say the same thing 3 times in a row just to be stupid. They had to kind of run it through a Trump filter. I was on the team that worked on the AI that developed the Trump filter. So you put regular speech into the thing and it would spit out Trump. It's a little broken now. They're trying to use it with Biden, but it's not quite kicking out the same way.
Yeah, Biden's filter is working in a different way. What was that, Greg?
Was that machine called the Bombasticon? It just adds.
That's right.
100% more.
They had that reggae beat. I'm the Bombasticon. Yeah, that was it.
Wasn't that a song from Shaggy?
I think it was.
I think so.
Bombasticon. I can't do that. I mean, if I tried.
Remember during Trump's reign, though, like nobody cared anymore because it was the post-truth era. But those watchdogs who listen to politicians and say, "Oh, he lied during that debate 4 times," and then when Trump came in, it was like every day he was lying like 100 times.
Well, the Washington Post gives away Pinocchios to politicians for their lies.
Yeah,
and they were just kind of like having like 100 a day for Trump.
Yeah, they had to give up. They were just like, well, why are you going to report this shit? It's just everything that comes out of his mouth must seem to be some mistruth.
I tell you, next week, I can't wait for next week so that I can really utilize this particular
How come
stream.
Wayne is not in the chair?
I don't know. Maybe because he didn't move yet or something. That's why. Or his screen is frozen.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, he's back. I think his screen must have been frozen. That's why I wouldn't do it. So we'll be able to use this for everybody who shows up at the show next week. If we have like 25, but this can hold 25 people here.
Oh,
so we'll be able to see everybody's heads.
Because it's just 12 seats.
This is more than 12 seats, Greg.
Oh, I guess I have a laptop. Sorry.
No, you're using
iPad.
a tablet. You don't have a laptop.
An iPad. So
yes, because you refuse to welcome other technology is why.
No.
That is why.
I do refuse.
Yes, you do. I don't want to learn how the headphones will work.
I'll have to get a little better lit behind me.
Brendan, did you take LSD?
Well, I think everyone's going to be different, really. Yeah. So I'll either use that one or I'll get to use this one, which also holds 25 people. So, but this still has me at the front of the room for some reason.
Because you're the teacher.
Children, make sure you hold your pencils and shove them in Jimmy's eye.
I fucking hate this teacher.
I'm the giant water baby next to Brendan.
I saw that.
Hey, Brendan.
I see what you people are doing behind me.
This guy with a big head.
I have giganticism. Don't make fun of me. Don't pick on me.
That's true. You do have a gigantic head on these things for some reason because you're so.
I do have a gigantic head even without the effects. I'm very fat.
That's true. I was noticing that last night. We went out for karaoke last night, Brendan, and I was realizing that Greg's head is getting massive. It's turning. It's turning into the thigh of a pig. His head.
It's bigger than that.
His head is a ham, is what it is.
I think I told you guys when I was in Little League, they never had the hats that fit me. The hats never fit me. I always had a fat head. When I was 10, they were like,
fat head?
The hats don't fit you. Because I think my brain is so big. That's why I'm so smart. Is I need a huge skull.
Because the brain goes down into your chin and through your nostrils.
It's everywhere. Yeah, there's not enough room for all this brain power.
I'll have to agree with you. I think that's exactly what it is. I think your brain is so massive it cannot fit within a normal human skull.
Yeah.
So they gave you this gigantic one.
Why evolve?
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Hey guys, I wanted to actually play for you what I've created so far for the intro for the show next week and get your opinion on it to see if it's the appropriate amount.
No, let's not do it during the show.
Why? It's not done. I mean, it's just going to be what I've created so far. What?
Spoil it. It's going to be. I want people to be waiting for it.
We'll spoil it for the 10 people who are watching the show today.
Yeah, Maria's going to be very pissed off.
Okay.
But you can tell me if it needs any changes or anything.
Okay. Fine.
So just because this is all part of the process. You know what I'm saying? If I could figure it out. Man. Yeah, exactly.
Give me a chance to get some more soda.
Yeah, you can do the soda while you're listening to this. It's not a big deal. So here we go. This presentation is brought to you in living color on Zoom from the Bracci, Penix, and Haggerty homesteads in Portland, Oregon, and Clearwater, Florida. Tonight, live, the Step Up to the Bar Association Legal Conference and Awards Banquet presents the second annual Quibble Awards. The Quibble Awards are brought to you by the Nickel Emporium, where everybody gets a nickel. Ground Force, moles are the enemy. Safe Mart, be safe. Divisipam, why compromise and work things out? And the Clean Sphincter Society, your taint is your treasure. Ladies and gentlemen, we are expecting numerous luminaries to attend or cancel, like the beautiful Luke McCullough, talented Einar Haraldsson, inimitable John Vorhaus, razor-sharp Jason Pollock, beatific Shanna Toft, notorious Dr. L. Chris Gowan, glimmering Dr. Lauren Lichty, unfathomable Billy Skeels, artistic Mark Stansel, font of wisdom Melissa Searcha, jovial Joshua Avali, industrious Stephen Joyner, loquacious Lavana Bracci, tempestuous Ike Avelli, serene Luca James, prolific Ryan Casada, secretive Buzz Lightyear, rotund Sanchez Eldorado, squabbly Shanty Pants, athletic Nick Tabor, the sprightly Mel Ortiz, Jamaican-Canadian Cretia Turner, spooky Mystic Ghost Paranormal Research Team, marvelous Mark Morales, tenacious Adam Hirschfield, splendiferous Twism White Peace, infamous Wise Otero, legendary John Velasco Mills, and the crafty Michael Stein. And with your masters of ceremonies, the gregarious Greg Petix, the Brendarius Brendan Haggerty, and the malevolent Matt Bracci. Welcome to the second annual Quibble Awards! All right, so I will accept all criticism.
It sounds like somebody that has no idea what adjectives are. It was just so random. Some of them worked. Some of them were like, "Oh, that adjective does describe that person." Then some were like, "What?"
That's because you probably just know what the word meant. That's why.
Adjective has nothing to do with that person.
Which one were you talking about, Greg?
I can't think off the top of my head, but
I was just wondering if I used too many people's names, if I should just limit it to 4 or 5. Should I do them all? Is it the appropriate amount of enthusiasm? Should I add anything else to it? Blah blah blah. Whatever you guys have in mind.
Well, you might have to change.
It's all changeable.
People don't show up.
I think just less.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking too. I was thinking there's too many that I was doing.
Yeah, it's just I started to kind of zone out a bit. I'm like, what?
And I got another
right.
one. He's reading off names for fuck's sake.
Yeah, and then they get so clever that the name and the clever thing sort of started to blur together.
Yeah,
it was a little harder to follow. But
yeah, I mean they're basically meant for the individuals. Each of these is their own personal whatever for that person to enjoy or not
cool.
or something. But at the same time, for the overall audience, it would be tedious more than likely. Yeah, to have too many. Okay, we'll narrow it down.
You're showing how the sausage is made, Matt. I don't like it.
We show how the sausage is made every show, Greg. But it's also not really showing how it's made. It's just basically reviewing one particular thing. And thus, for all of the people whose names are going to be deleted from it, in the next incarnation, they'll go, at least it was on this episode that they got to have whatever said about
a roll call.
Right. Everyone, raise your hands if you're here.
A rogues gallery.
Present.
It is our rogues gallery. All right, well, why don't we just move on then to what the part of the show that everyone wants to hear and loves the most. It's time to ask Greg.
He has an opinion, may not always be right. He's a real fake lawyer. He's old and he's white. Ask him a question, 'cause he's a good egg for bogus advice. Ask Greg. Ask Greg. Ask Greg.
Brenda, do you have anything from the hopper that is there for Greg for his legal advice for this particular week?
Let me take a look.
Okay.
I gotta start wearing a robe when we do this.
And a wig, a powdered wig.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Powdered wig. I would love that, honestly. Or just put powdered sugar on your head. A bag of it. Just put one bag. Just balance a powdered sugar bag on your head.
The rubbing my chin doesn't look wise enough. It looks like I have lice. Maybe.
It does. You're right. It looks like you've got bugs.
All right, this is a bit of an odd one. It's kind of an inheritance type of situation. Dear Greg, you don't know me, but I've heard a lot about you on the internet. As it turns out, my uncle, a great historian and philosophical leader of my country, has since deceased due to illness brought on by government secret agents. My question to you, great American, is will you help me to transfer the $27 million that he has left me into your kind hands, by which I will split it with you later in the month of July. God bless. Prince Naheem Rashad Amani.
Are you residing in the tiny island republic of Togo by any
chance?
He's
just reading the letter to you, Greg. He doesn't.
I don't know.
This person I meet.
Yeah.
Is there a return address? Is it from Togo or Nairobi?
His email address is shortyhottie995@yahoo.de. Does that mean anything to you?
That means he's German.
Well, it does sound like everything's sewn up legally, and please send him. I would love to get my hands on half that money. I will help in any way I can. I mean, I have a little nest egg. I'll just send it to him. No questions asked. It sounds all above board to me. I mean, yeah, his uncle is the leader of this country.
Bob's
right.
Yeah. Sounds like there's some money there. And I can get my hands on some of this loot.
I'll let him know you're interested, and we'll see if he responds.
I don't know why I never get emails like that. How come I never get emails like that? That would be nice to have opportunity.
Because you don't check your email as well.
I don't know. I used to, but I never get opportunities like that. Business opportunities.
You need a Hotmail address, dude.
Yeah.
All right.
Or
get that Western Union account open too, Greg. All right, I've got one for you too. So, dear Greg, what is the difference between lying in court and perjury?
Lying in court is if you're very tired.
Oh.
And you lay down. I was doing your joke. Sorry. There went
to Punland.
There really is no difference. Any lying in court, even if they ask you like, "How you feeling today?" and you're like, "Pretty good, Your Honor," and you're not feeling that good, like you got diarrhea, they could stop you with perjury for that.
Really?
It's a lie. You lie.
You're saying it's against the law to have diarrhea in court?
No, to lie about it.
Oh, to lie about diarrhea.
Any lie is a
public traffic courts. Yeah, I don't need that shit. I got to get to work.
In a court of law, it's like everything has to be truthful. So, like, if you're in a court of law and if the judge asks you, "Do I look fat in these pants? Does my ass look fat?" You better answer truthfully. He'll know, and you get slapped with a perjury charge.
To digress a little bit, how many judges do you think are wearing assless chaps while they're in court under their robes?
Well, Monty Python answered that question. That famous judge.
They said how many?
Not assless chaps, but they're all wearing like sexy lingerie and like women's lingerie.
Oh, so all of them.
They made it seem like it was a common thing with judges.
Like all judges
when they let their wigs down, in their chambers.
That's maybe just British judges, but what about American judges?
I'm sure there's at least 20%. That would make sense.
They let their wigs down. 20%.
All right. Well, that's pretty significant percentage.
20%.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much. That was Ask Greg, and we appreciate everybody's contributions that participates in this and sends us the letters to Greg in order for him to answer these questions. So thank you very much, all of you out there. We continue on with our client, those who pry thighs, use lies, and I actually want to get into a little bit about Greg and Brendan's abilities to write fiction.
I don't know about Brendan's fiction. What kind of fiction do you write, Brendan?
Sci-fi mostly, but kind of more Philip K. Dick kind of sci-fi.
Some more Android type sci-fi stuff?
Huh?
More like Android type Android and heavy drug use sci-fi?
Kind of more like that. The one I'm working on now has to do with the I started writing it a couple of years ago. It's about sort of this collapsing multiverse and how everything's getting crisscrossed, and people are not the same people they were the day before, and this guy's just trying to get to work. Anyway, stuff like that.
Oh, interesting. Hey, you give me an idea that we should do for an episode, which is create a story live on the show. Like each of us comes up
radio drama.
Exactly, but we do it live. We do it off the top of our heads. We start from the beginning, and somebody begins it, and then it goes in however many directions.
Well. I can't imagine that going well.
No one said it was going to go well, Greg, but it'll go.
I've done this. I've done this with my kids many times. It's a great little. It's really not until somebody's like, I'm really sick of doing this, and they just start going, and then they all die. And you're like, oh, come on, man. No, the car crashes, and they all burned up, and they're dead. That's the end.
Yeah, but if you're doing science fiction, you can bring them all back.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, you're up next. And then God came. Oh, God damn it. No.
Did God come and then God damned it?
Yeah, and then damned it, and the guys got back to life, and we carried on. And
by the way, we have two questions from TikTok. First one is, what are your pronouns? So that was from Fana. And the second one is, how's your day going? My day is fine, but my pronouns...
Well, together, as a threesome, we're they.
Yeah, we're they together.
Singly,
and when we speak of ourselves.
We're all He-Man. We're He-Man.
I'm Beep Bop.
I am 10 Speed and Brown Shoe. Those are my pronouns for today.
Those are nicknames.
What? No, those are collective nouns, Greg.
Okay.
10 speed and brown shoe. Those are collective nouns.
Okay.
Wasn't that an 80s detective show?
Late 70s, early 80s with Jeff
Is it
Goldblum
10
and
speed
Ben
or
Vereen.
brown shoe?
That was where Jeff Goldblum got his start, was on that show. Or at least
I am a
that's where he
he,
became
even
famous.
though everyone doubts it and says, I guess I have a lot of she-ness in me.
You have a lot of She-Ra in you.
I do. I'm a he-man, but with some she-ra in me.
You have a giant green tiger living inside of you.
I wish.
You wish you had a giant green tiger living inside of you?
Yeah.
Why
And
would
then
you wish that?
I could yawn and unleash him to attack my enemies. So I could be like, ah.
But he would like eat the insides of you if he was inside.
No, I trained him not to.
You would train a giant green tiger.
I'm big enough now. I could have a
With
tiger.
your mind?
I'm fat. I'm huge right now.
So you say you have extra space within you. Like your body is kind of like Snoopy's doghouse, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
There's like a lot more room in there.
It's like Felix the Cat's bag. Or
It's like
Doctor Who's TARDIS.
It's like you open your mouth wide enough, people can walk in and go downstairs, is what you're saying. And you're right, it's like the TARDIS from Doctor Who. It's
like Disneyland in there.
Like Pogo's tree, you know.
Oh, Pogo had that. I didn't know Pogo had a magic tree.
Yeah, man, he lived in the tree with Snoopy and all of his friends.
I just thought he was an insufferable liberal cuck.
Pogo? Like anybody listening to this knows who Pogo is.
I'm kidding.
Actually, consider our demographics, they probably all know who Pogo is.
That was satire because I agree with Walt Kelly's politics.
At the very least, Pogo will be showing up as a cartoon character whenever I finally edit this on the screen.
I just don't know
You
how
should.
it's a
People will
liberal
know
cuck,
it.
But
When you show them, people will say, "Oh, that guy, Pogo."
They might, but Brenda was trying to say something and you talked over him again.
I'm just saying, how is he a liberal cuck?
Pogo was a comic strip in the 50s and 60s and 70s that was about these funny animals, but they talked about real politics, and he was very liberal, Walt Kelly,
Yeah.
Oh.
So they were like Doonesbury with animals.
Yeah.
Ah.
Way better. A much better comic strip.
Why was it better?
It was kind of funny for 15 minutes for a while, and then it just...
It's like, draw another panel already. Stop using the same panel.
You're talking about every time they use like the White House and for like 4 panels and there was just like words above it?
Exactly. No, Walt Kelly was a great cartoonist. I mean, his strip looked great. Like, it looked like a beautiful, funny animal kid strip, but they'd be talking about, like, there'd be an animal would show up who's like Joe McCarthy. It would be like a woodchuck named Joe McCoo.
Hey, which president do you think would have the most interesting comic strip if they could create one?
Donald Trump, probably.
Trump would have the best comic
Trump
strip?
was an interesting president. I mean, dramas, thrills.
I was thinking Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson.
Oh,
Other times
harder comic. Massacring Indians.
That would be like Pulp Fiction.
He'd be killing Indian children and women.
Slaughtering them, dueling with people, shooting them until they were dead.
It all started with the Battle of New Orleans, Greg. Because in 1814, we took a little trip along with Colonel Jackson down the
mighty Mississippi. There's no river called the mighty Mississippi. I don't know what they're talking about.
Well, if they had to take like a little bit at a time when they drank it, so it's like a Mississippi.
So like you got your dad joke in. Good work, Dad.
It was
a little one-upmanship on your part.
Is that like a mega pint?
How is
same sort of
a microdose?
It's a misstep.
Or a misstep in humor.
Yeah.
Bottle full of cocaine.
That's when they touched the powder off after they powdered the gators behind.
So 10 years ago, we could ask the question, who's the most lying president? But I mean, now it's pretty much hands down. But before Trump.
Well, I think
who's the least trustful president that
there were like 2 who were like supposed to have been really corrupt. And that one was Ulysses S. Grant and another one was Warren G. Harding. But Harding was supposed to have been like worse than Grant.
I thought Grant was just a drunk. Like he was just
well, there was apparently a lot of nepotism and during his administration as well, which kind of aligns with what Trump did. You know, but with Harding, it's like he was in bed with like the
Teapot Dome,
the prohibitioners. You know.
No, but that was the Teapot Dome scandal, right? Weren't you Harding?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then Franklin Pierce is supposed to be like on the list of the worst presidents too. But I don't know if he's as bad as those guys. I
don't say Jimmy Carter's terrible, and I love Jimmy Carter, so I don't know about this.
Well, you can love him as a person, but as a politician, no, you can't love him as a person.
No, I'm saying he was the first president to finally make some peace between the Israels and the Palestinians.
How many Israels are there? Is there like more than one?
The Israels.
So there's the Egypt Israel, there's the Syria Israel, there's the Lebanon Israel.
I meant to say the Israelites. No, he was the one president
in the like 90s. The Israels. Steve Smiter and the Israels. I think they were in Brooklyn.
It actually sounds like a bad baseball team, doesn't it? Like the Detroit Israels.
Next up, Steve Smite from the Detroit Israels.
But yeah, I mean, he did some good shit, and then he just had some bad hands dealt to him. But it was like he was this incompetent boob, you know, like Taft or Hoover.
Yeah, well, Hoover's kind of like in the same position as Biden, right? So in other words, because Hoover had a huge mess that he had to clean up, and he basically is the one who had to.
No, he started the mess.
No, he didn't.
He did.
No.
And he ignored it. He just kept saying, people just need to work harder. It's like, there's no fucking jobs. There's a depression. He wasn't dealing with it. He was in this nonsense land of just like, these poor people just don't want to work hard.
The depression started before he was president.
I know, but then he had to, when his way of dealing with it was just saying, people don't want to work. These lazy, good for nothing.
Like I said, he's like Biden. So
no, that's usually Republicans are the ones who are like, oh, these poor people on welfare, they don't want to work.
Yeah,
the Democrats
you should listen more frequently. They kind of sound a lot more the same.
The Democrats at least make some social programs every now and then. They get around to like, oh, we're gonna have more food stamps for people.
This comes from the guy who doesn't pay attention to anything.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. Before you put your drink down and let me talk for like 1 minute.
All right, I'm going to put my drink up.
So the thing is, the social programs that the Democrats supposedly are supposed to do something about, they fail to deliver on them every single time. We talked about minimum wage, never happened. Talked about forgiving college debt, never happened. Talked about actual health care, not this Obama bullshit, never happened. So other than war, what exactly are the Democrats doing that's worth anything? Because that's all they.
At least they try, but then there's always a Republican Congress shutting them down on everything they try to do.
Well, I do appreciate the infrastructure bill that got passed. That I think is good, but now it's like
Trump was trying to pass that. I mean,
yeah, but not in the same amount as what Biden put together.
And he didn't give a shit about it. Trump wasn't trying to pass
whatever. But I'm just saying it doesn't have anything to do with that fucking guy. That fucking guy could be retarded. It doesn't matter. Look at Biden. They just roll him out. He doesn't know. Trump's no better. We haven't had a person in the White House that can think since Obama, really. And I didn't really like the way he thinked in the end.
You didn't like his thunkiness? Thunking?
I didn't like his some of his thunkedness.
I think Clinton was a smart guy, but he was very corrupt.
A smart guy and a piece of shit and very conservative.
But I mean, it's not like abortion rights are under attack.
Republican at this point.
If Clinton was president now, if Clinton... now it's worse though. Like women can't even get abortions now. I know Clinton was corrupt.
Greg, women can get abortions now.
Barely.
That hasn't
going away.
We got to comment, dude. Stop watching the Jon Stewart or whatever. Stop. That was
Jon
just
Stewart. Now who's the old man?
Jon Stewart has a new show, Greg.
Uh-oh.
He does have
now.
Who's the old man? You just said that women can't get an abortion now. That never happened. It didn't even come close to happening. People talked about it. We talked about it.
Well, it's happened in Oklahoma and in Texas.
No, in lots of states, even before this thing happened,
shut down.
Even before this, though, they were making it hard. Right. They were like, you could live in a huge state, there'd be one abortion clinic 400 miles away. That's been going on for 10 years.
Okay, so if abortion, let the states do it. I don't give a shit. They want to make abortion illegal in Oklahoma. Let those fucking backward ass people do it. You guys made basically everything, all drugs legal in Oregon. Okay.
And that's turning out great.
It. I don't know how it's turning out.
It is.
Whatever.
No, it's turning out with more people dying of overdoses, Greg.
Okay.
No, that never happened.
You don't know because you don't read anything.
I'm trying not to open this can of worms. I'm just saying that we're going, Oklahoma and Texas passed laws that did this. Okay, made it more difficult or overrode whatever. Fine. But, we were talking about earlier where, certain states were passing the ability of gay people to marry or, legalizing weed or whatever. And liberals were cheering all this factionary
because that doesn't hurt anyone. Those are good laws.
Who says
keeping women from having abortions is shitty because they're going to do it anyway, and they're going to get back out of the abortion.
I believe with all my heart, you don't get to choose for me. If I believe with all my heart from Jesus, that two men getting married is the worst. It's like letting Satan into your house. If I believe that way, and I believe that way, you don't get to judge me any more than I get to judge you if you think that, me preventing women from killing their babies is horrible.
Yeah, I do get to judge them.
They're alive.
Because they're trying to keep women fucked.
No, they're not. They're just, those babies are alive. Why are you killing babies?
Because they're idiots.
Greg,
they're
baby
morons.
killer.
Sorry.
You baby killer?
Greg, the baby killer, coming from NBC.
I'm just saying it's so dumb. Both sides of the argument is so dumb. Can't we just, it's like gun control. Can't we just go, look, okay, if the kid, if you just took the kid out at this point, could he make it? Maybe we should just take him out. Give him to somebody who wants a kid versus pull him out halfway, hitting him with a hammer or whatever they do. I think we all agree that's pretty awful, right? But at the same time, if you get knocked up or raped or whatever, and you're like, I don't want to have anything to do with this, you should be able to do that. But you can't make it last forever. There's a certain point where like, look, bitch, I don't know at what point you were like, oh, no, I can't do this now. Come on. It's a life lesson. I don't know, but we can have that discussion is my point.
I don't know what
that would be for a different episode. So that's what happens after they pry the thighs after they use the lies.
Yes,
yeah, with the forceps.
Anyway, this has been the most recent episode, the one that you're currently hearing. This is that episode, the one that you've just heard,
which will be canceled
all the way
so
through
you'll never be able to hear this again. Probably.
Well, you'll be able to hear it probably just not on YouTube or some social media platform, or podcasting platforms, and Spotify. I mean, they kept Joe Rogan on Spotify, so they'll keep us on Spotify. But in the meantime, this has been our client has been those who pry thighs use lies. Next week again, please do attend the second annual Quibbly Awards, June 15th at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. What is 5 plus 3? 5 plus 3, 8 p.m. Eastern, and add 2 hours to that. That's how long it'll go. And if you're really nice to me and you message me separately at qsblawoffices@gmail.com, hell, I'll give you a link. You could join in. You can be part of the audience, the live audience. We'll accept live audience members because dead ones don't do anything.
Your consultation with the Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker has ended. You may pay your retainer at www.qsblaw.org. Please exit to the right of the water cooler and grab a candy from the front desk. We hope to see you again soon, but you need to leave now. I said leave. Why don't they ever listen? Get out! Get out!